spend probably the rest of our time with this chapter. It's pretty big, but it gets into a cadence, so to speak, a sequence, a pattern. And we'll talk about some of the pattern also in our journey through. Vayakam El Yashiv HaKohen HaGadol Va'akav. Chapter 3, verse 1. Nehemiah. It is, for those on video, this is Friday night. So the soldiers here are hanging in. It's been pretty rugged, but today is. And you chose coming to Hebrew class rather than taking your wife out for dinner. What was that word you discovered yesterday? No, that other one. Kibosh. Okay, here we go. It's pretty big, so I think what I will do is, at least on this chapter tonight, do away with much of the reading, so we'd use some translating. Verse 1. I need a volunteer for verse 1. We want many involved tonight.
The high priest Elisha stood up and struck the high priest Elisha and his brother.
And what did they do?
They built the sheep gate.
They built the sheep gate. Good. And what else?
What was involved in that little thing that they would do after they first transition?
Well, it's a good question. What has transpired in the first chapter? First chapter was he heard the bad news. And it finally brought it down to what his position was there in the capital, cupbearer. Second chapter, King notice he is discouraged and asks why. And we had the doctrine of split-second prayer. In the midst of a conversation, he asked God for help, answered. King was interested. What can I do? How can I help? And so it has moved from there to where he has last night come back with an entourage from Shushan to Jerusalem, military escort, spent 3 days, and then had his night ride. Went out on some type of behemoth, some type of beast. We're not sure what. Maybe a horse, maybe a donkey, maybe an oxen, who knows, but he went out to survey how bad the condition of the walls and the gates were. And so that's where we left it. Now, we get down to the fact that, also last night he told the leaders, the elders there in Jerusalem, what God had put in his heart, and basically kind of challenged them, and they said, let's do what God has told you to do. And so now it's down to laying out the work, and the work is starting. So it starts with, and I don't think this is happenstance, who does it start with? Yeah, so all of a sudden, which takes you a little bit off guard, the first one heading up the work on the wall was the high priest and other priests. And they rebuilt form of Banah, they rebuilt the sheep gate. And just didn't do that, they also dedicated it. Well, to us it's kind of strange. I mean, you have a wall around the city and gates into the city, and, why would you dedicate a gate? Well, again, people are coming to this city to worship God. They know that God has brought judgment upon them in the past. They know that God has helped them now to go back and to rebuild. And I think it's that whole thing of acknowledgement that they are living in a theocracy, or should be, and the king should be listening to God. But the days of the kings have passed. It's now a governor. And we still acknowledge that God is in control. So they're dedicating the work to Him. What else?
And I think that's an interesting term there. If you look in a lot of the English texts, they express the setting up of the doors, or rebuilding of the doors, where the Hebrew gives there a singular. It's a singular noun that is expressed in a plural way.
Okay.
Maybe there were two doors. I mean, in English, they're saying
it's like a set.
It's like a doorway.
Yeah, so they put the doors in place. Now again, you're talking, some of you have seen these, but these doors sometimes are about that thick, and between the wood and the metal and the iron, and they may be almost as high as the ceiling here, and so we're talking probably, I don't know, over 1,000 pounds each, or a couple thousand, whatever. But I mean, they're massive. They're for protection. So this is a big endeavor. Okay, so verse 1 again.
And Eliashib, the high priest, stood up. Then stood up Eliashib, the high priest, and the other priests. When they rebuilt or restored the sheep gate, they sanctified it and set the doorway.
How far?
And up to
Migdal,
the tower.
the tower of the
North wall of Jerusalem. They consecrated that, but that gives you the idea, like what you were saying.
Maya. What's Maya mean?
A tower. Is that a tower on the north wall?
Yeah. So whatever it meant, the Tower of the 100. So it had something to do, doesn't tell you historically, but that's what they called it. And they dedicated it as far as what?
The Tower on the Nile. But that kind of gives you a mental picture that there was maybe not very much broken down like that.
Could be. Remember last night we did a little tracking here on the map, and what gate? So notice last night it was pretty well the survey was down here, coming out the valley gate, coming around, getting so far, and then going back because he couldn't continue on, probably because of the ruins. But notice here, the description will start up here at the sheep gate and north of Temple Mount. And we'll watch the progression of which way they go from there. Okay, who would do verse 2?
That's an interesting term there. With their hands.
What are we doing with Baal?
Is with.
Al can mean what? On or upon. Anything else? Can it mean by?
And by their hands.
Many think that you have an idiom here, either, and by his hand or by his side, where your hand, so, you walk like this, but your hands are at your sides. So perhaps it can mean side. So what are they saying? Those individuals have done their building. It's the idea by their side, next to them, that idea. Who does what?
Jericho.
Men of Jericho built, and probably men of Jericho repaired, and
Again, that's the third singular form. His hand, their hand, or their side.
yeah, probably going back to the high priest. Because mention him, it's kind of like him and then all these others, but kind of he's the point person. Men of Jericho repaired or built, and well, probably again, you got the cadence going of next to, next to, next to, by the hand, by the hand, by the hand, or his hand. Who built? Zakur, son of Imri. Notice the fronting here with the direct object. Sons of Hasaneah. What'd they do? They rebuilt the fish gate. So we come back up here and we can see what direction they're going. They started here with the high priest. They're going in that direction. In the description and in the building. In the description.
The third one. Okay, so that's a definite article.
Dagin. The fish's gate, or the gate of the fishes. And they also laid what? Cross beams or beams. Okay, Ruthu. And they set in place what? Doors. And then it starts getting technical. The doors and the bolts or the bars from Na'al that hold the doors so they can pivot. Bolts and the bars. Verse 4, who would take 4? Now it goes from his side to their side. And at their side, Meremoth, son of Urlah,
strengthened or seized.
Yeah, now I did a little count here, and let's see what we come up with. 34 times in this chapter, seed is used, which means simply to repair, to rebuild.
Which word? The last bit?
Yeah. The Hey, Chet, Zion, Yod, Kof. So, in verse 1, they are rebuilding from Banah. They are dedicating from Kadosh. They are setting in place from Amad. They are laying the beams from Kirah, and heavy duty, by use of term, they are repairing. Yeah, Uriah. Meshullam, son of Berechiah, son of and at their side, Zadok, repaired. And at their side, yeah, Tekoa was who was from Tekoa? One of the prophets. Amos. Amos the prophet was from Tekoa, south of Bethlehem. And, people from Tekoa help, but now we have a problem.
They did not bring food. They did not bring.
Va'adi Rahim.
But they're nobles.
The rulers, their nobles of Tekoa, they would not do what?
Bring
they would not, and the idea here is shoulder the work. And so we don't know the problem. Were they lazy? Did they not like who was supervising? And for whatever reasons, the people from the city would, but these guys would not.
Shoulder to work to the service of the Lord.
And then in verse 6 we have what? Yoadah, son of Paseah, and Meshullam, son of Besodiah.
They repaired Colgate.
Okay, some say Yeshana, others say what? Notice on our list over here, it's question of the location, but they believe it would be behind west of the temple.
Did you mention where all the Psalms are separated?
Psalmics are added later in Jewish history, so they're not part of the original text. And what's that? They were smaller sections, sometimes to mark paragraph, sometimes to mark section of reading and so on, but they're not to be taken as part of the original text. You'll get into that when you get in probably your fourth, fifth class when you deal with the textual apparatus at the bottom of the page and different manuscripts and those things. But the history of the text, the Masoretes and so on. Okay, verse 6, end of verse 6. And they laid the beams, they put in place the doors, the bolts, the bars, so those are reoccurring. And at their side, Maladia. Did what?
They repaired. There were a lot of people there.
Yeah, kind of an unusual expression because it's talking about the building continues, but then a number of individuals who are what?
They're from the other side of the river.
They're under the authority of the governor. Lachisae, what do you think that is? Normally is chair, throne, seat, high seat, probably under the rule, the authority of the rulers, the ruler beyond the river. And at his side, Uzziel repaired. Now, who is Uzziel? Zoraphim. Zoraphim. He is one, one who works with gold, so he's a goldsmith. Now, there's little tidbits through here that make it very interesting. Okay, you got all these people working. Who's the first? High priest. Who's with him? Other priests. The work starts. You get down the road, or down the wall, I should say, you have problems. You have a section that's being done by the village people of Tekoa, but the rulers of that town won't work because they don't want to, work hard. They don't want to work under the supervisor, so there's an issue. You get farther down the wall, you have just not general laborers out there. You have, skilled people, goldsmiths are even out there working on the wall. And so why are these things mentioned? I think there's a reason for it. It's to show that it doesn't matter your status in life. This is a job everybody is to be about, and let's go for it.
Prayer.
And at his side, Hananiah. Who is Hananiah? Those who made ointments, perfumes, he repaired, and they restored Jerusalem as far as the broad wall. That's not on here. So again, when it was written, it would have been well known, but all that group extended the work down to what would be known then as the broad wall. And at their side, Raphaphia repaired. Not only that, he is a ruler of a half district of Jerusalem. So they had what? In my little town I was raised in, Michigan, they used to call them wards. First ward, second ward, third ward, fourth ward, and each ward would have a supervisor, a little committee. And so the districts in Jerusalem must have been like that, like neighborhoods. And there was some authority, and many of these are mentioned not only for Jerusalem, but for other cities. And on the side of them, Yediah repaired. What did he repair? This is interesting. He repaired the wall that was
part of his house.
Yeah, just across from his house. This would be mentioned many times. What's the wisdom of that? This wall is going to be strong here, guys. I'm telling you that. It may not be down there by your house, but it's going to be strong by my house. That's right. Got a vested interest out here. And to his side, Hattush repaired another part of the wall. And then Malchiah, he repaired, son of. And he repaired how far? The Migdal of the Tanurim. And you would imagine maybe it's the bakery area. Some place where, in that hot climate, you would have a cooler winter, but, 9 months a year, you're not worrying about keeping warm from an oven. So perhaps it's where, a large city bakery was, or making bread every day or whatever, but ovens for something.
Was there the original stones? It didn't say anything about the shape or size or just the quantity of stones that had been knocked down before. You probably tried to get those back up. What was left?
Let's talk about that for a moment.
Because that would have been. There's part of the wall there that we saw on our trip. You guys saw it looked pretty thin, and the stones were pretty patchy. It looked like an amateur did it.
It's usually like a patchwork.
And close to the top, you got the smaller the stones got.
Yep. A tell, the ancient Near East, is a mound, and it can just be of a raise in the ground, but it has been used archaeologically for a couple centuries now of where the city used to be. Let's say these were the walls. Invasion comes, walls are hit hard, and the city that used to have, so to speak, roofs and everything else, everything is bubbled out. The next city builder comes in, and this is how those cities differ from today. Back then, you would take that and you would try to salvage anything you could salvage and reuse. Today, we'd just probably scrape it clean, take it to a landfill, bring in new stuff, and start over. Back then, you didn't do that. You take a lot of the rubble and you'd fill in depressed areas, make it smooth, but if there was a block and it was chipped bad, but still usable, you'd reuse it. If it was, shattered or most of it, you wouldn't. But anyways, the same thing here, to where they're trying to do a very good repair on the walls. And in one account, it will tell us that one individual worked on an area that was, 500 yards long? I mean, how far is 500 yards?
Football field and a half, 1 2/3. 500 yards.
Yeah, so big stretch, and you figure in 52 days you are not building a wall from scratch up. So it's got to be a major repair. Let's see, verse 12. At his side, Shallum repaired, who happened to be a ruler of Holosheth, a half district of Jerusalem. He and who? His daughters. You drive by these farms and they say, Johnson and Sons. There's one in Canada by us. It says Johnson and Daughters. And sure enough, gals are out there working, and they're included in the workers list. They repaired what?
Well, 13.
Mm-hmm.
They made it down to the Valley Gate.
To the Valley Gate. So we've gone from here all the way down to now the Valley Gate. Put in place the doors, the bolts, the bars of the doors.
Quite a large segment of the wall.
Yeah, this is where we have the
How far was it?
1,000 cubits of the wall. Cubit was the measurement from the tip of the elbow to the tip of the middle finger. The average cubit in the ancient Near East was 18 inches. The Assyrian was the longest. I think it was 22. It's been bigger people. But if you have a foot and a half times 1,000, you come out with 1,500 feet. Divided by 3 is 500. So that's our 500 yards there. As far as what? The dung gate. So
500 yards.
all the way down to the south. Then, Achaia, district of Beth Hasarim, he repaired and put in place the doors, bolts and the bars of the doors. And then Shallum. And I think this is the same Shallum, so we have some working in a place, getting done and moving down. He repairs Spring Gate is also called the Fountain Gate. So we're moving now up this direction. And it mentions down to the pool of what?
Shalom.
Yeah. Shelah, Shalom. And you were, those on the trip, you went there. And that was near what?
King's Garden.
King's Garden.
That coincides with that scripture too, because they left the war on the stairs to that area.
Mm-hmm.
Started to work back.
Yeah, notice here it's mentioned stairs from the city of David, right there. Then what?
Where are you right now? Verse 16.
Verse 16. Repair down to the stairs, the ones going to the city, from the city of David. And beyond him, Nehemiah, not the Nehemiah of the book. Nehemiah of the book's father was who? Hakaliah. Nehemiah repaired. He happens to be a ruler of the best district, half district of Beit Sur, up to where? Yeah, the graves of David.
And Nehemiah saw the
Must have been personal family cemetery, perhaps. And as far as the house of the
91.
Giborim. So the house of heroes. So there might have been a family cemetery, and there may have been some type of what we would call a memorial for fallen military heroes. We are reminded in the Old Testament of what were they called? David's mighty men? Lists of them in the Old Testament. Verse 17. And the Levites repaired what? Their foreman is mentioned, Rehum. The next section. Where yet? Take the ha off. Take the ha off. What do you have? Levine. Levy. The Levites. And at his side, Hashabiah, district of Keilah. Now it just starts at times just saying this person had a section, this person had a section. Doesn't tell you a whole lot.
The first word of verse 17 or verse 18, the
Akar.
Afterwards, or
yeah.
After him, or next, is that?
After him. So this person worked after him, this group, this person. Drop down to verse 20. Next to him, Baruch. He repaired, but notice, how did he repair?
Oh, he was
with great energy. So he must have stood out as a leader of the work crews.
Is that word, that second word, verse 20, is that to burn?
Mm-hmm. See where we get the idea of zeal. And they worked.
Oh, they worked.
From where to where?
Kind of like what you were saying before, that it's not all broken down. They started from a huge corner
Okay?
And then they went
To the opening, the entrance of the house of.
to the usher.
Yeah, so who we started with, now we're back to him where he lived. Verse 21. Meremoth, well, or is it the same person again? Someone check back. The first place we had Meremoth, was he the son of Uriah? I think he was. So again, you get done, you move on, or maybe you had a lot of workers and you're checking here as a supervisor. From the entrance of the house of Elishib to the end of his house. So apparently, high priest had a pretty large home. And after him, Ha-Kohanim, the priests. And the priests are identified as what?
And then
Kikar means the region, the extended region, what they repaired. Yehanim, Benjamin, and Yashuv repaired where? Neged, in front of their own house. Next to them, Azariah repaired. Eitzel, near his house. Next to him, Bedua repaired. The house of Azariah down to
corner buttress, or the corner of the it's one of the main corners.
okay. Palal, verse 25.
Face over the side of the corner of the buttress to there.
And the Hamigdal,
Tower,
the one that was going out from, the house of the king, the palace.
2 stories. Go back to that term again for the prison.
An open court. Court of the Matara, the guards. Next to him, Pedaiah, son of Harosh, and who's with him? Nethanim. These were servants in the temple area who were what? Living in Ophel, O-P-H-E-L. Across from the water gate. So, all the way now up to this location. To the what? Mizrach. To the east. And to the tower. The one is going forth. Next to him, the Tekoites. They repaired, rebuilt.
great tower, in front of the great tower.
The one that is going and onto the Homath, wall of Ophel. Verse 28.
Oh, there you go.
Horse Gate they do not have on our map. The priests
Well, that's interesting.
repaired. Which was before his house. And next to him, Zadok, son of Immer, repaired, across from his house. And next to him, Shemaiah, son of Shechaniah, repaired.
So they went there up to the east gate, on his
And so if this is pretty accurate, we are up to Eastgate. I think that may be, let's see, is that the last one mentioned? No, it comes back to the sheep gate. What's that? Seems to be in the progression, yeah. And, as time went, gates would have the eastern gates. Known as the beautiful gate, the eastern gate. Some call it the Golden Gate. Yeah, East Gate. And verse 30, next to him, Hananiah, son of Shelemiah, and Hanun, son of Salaph.
Peace or part.
Where are you at?
The Hashishi.
Oh, midam means to be a part or a portion or a section. Next to him, Meshulam, repaired. Opposite across from his chamber. Verse 31. Next to him, Melchiah, goldsmith, repaired. Temple servants, temple slaves.
And that's a new word.
What is Resh Kaf Lamed? Someone look that up for us. Resh Kaf Lamed.
That be someone who trades?
Merchants. Sellers.
They don't have the big cocktail on that.
No, so
Maybe that's the master case.
that could be. As far as the what?
Upper roof.
Yeah, at the corner. Between the roof of the corner
And the roof chamber. Corner.
belonging to the
Back to the sheep gate.
sheep gate.
And you put it down.
Yeah, the goldsmiths and the merchants repaired. So it's interesting that the description goes all around the city. Nothing is left out. Mention these items. Chapter 3, verse 1. In your notes, do note that it starts with the high priest and the priests. let's see here. In verse 5, note that the leaders, the rulers of Tekoa, will not join the work. Just after that, note that Uzziel is identified as a goldsmith working. Hananiah is noted as son of perfume makers. Notice that rulers of districts and half districts, either in Jerusalem or other towns and villages, are mentioned from verse 8 on. Note that the Nehemiah is not the Nehemiah who we met previous in the book. It's not two different fathers. A couple other points. Verse 20, Baruch was pointed out for his hard, intense work. Also, many are noted as working on the wall in front or across from their house. Temple servants are working. Priests are working. Craftsmen are working. Merchants are working. And also note that the description in chapter 3 takes us entirely around the city of Jerusalem that would have been at the time of Zerubbabel, Ezra, Nehemiah, and Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi.
You mentioned the priest consecrating the sheep gate.
Mention that, put that in your notes, that this was simply not a physical labor, but a physical and spiritual labor. That
specifically because that's where the sacrificial lamb is, right? Or not?
At the
sheep gate? Where the sacrifices would come in?
Yeah, it's a little bit of what's the term I want? It's a little bit of speculation is the word I want. It's a speculation because we don't know much about that time period, about the Eastern Gate, or would be the Eastern Gate. What they did at the time of the tabernacle, what they did at the time of the temple. But at the sheep gate, you would imagine, that sacrificial animals would, come onto the Temple Mount from that direction. Today, it's from the one to the other. If you came in the sheep gate today, up by St. Stephen's Gate, the Lion's Gate, you'd virtually be coming onto the old Temple Mount. Okay, tomorrow what we will do is work with chapter 4 for sure. We might get into 5 depending on how the day's going, but we'll definitely do chapter 4. And that will get us to where we need to be. Questions?
So they did that around the wall for 52 days. And then you see here in Sanballat, and our friends come back again and said,
Yeah, and I'll point them out probably tomorrow, but there are some other verses ahead in the book to where it talks about what they were repairing were breaches in the wall. So the wall most of it was still up, but it was where in the siege, the Babylonian siege, that they had busted up different areas. Okay, let's see here.
What
we supposed to read? You signed a Dorsey.
This student is right here.
About ready to pass out, I think. What's our former president's comment that would identify with? We feel your pain. We feel your pain. Careful now, careful. Here's what we'll do. We're done for tonight, and what we'll do tomorrow, we will start out with a quiz hand out the came around, and we'll take one of those sentences, so somehow do work on that between now and then. We will finish the area Iowa overview in Dorsey. We will finish the short story. We will finish chapter 4, maybe 5, but definitely 4. And a few little bits and pieces to add in. I want to talk a little bit about word studies tomorrow. Have you talked about word studies? We'll do a little bit of work on word study. That should be probably in your next Hebrew course coming up. But we'll do a little work there and have lunch together, and we'll be done no later than 3 o'clock. So we'll be in good shape. Questions?
Be a final 30-page thesis.
Stacy, I'd never thought of something like that, but that's a good idea. No. No, well, stone up. Okay, those on video, continue your reading of translating of Nehemiah chapter 4. And if you have time to get into 5, and we will be working in that area tomorrow. Be ready for your quiz and do your reading and surveying of overview of Dorsey, and I think we'll be all set. Good morning. We come to our last day of class, and we will be completing our second short story. We will translate Nehemiah chapter 4 and perhaps some of 5. We will make some final comments, a little survey, some portions of Dorsey, and a few other items we'll be working on this morning and then the early afternoon. Let's begin with a word of prayer, and we will begin. Father, we come before you. Thank you for the night's rest. Thank you for this day that you have provided for us, and we'd ask that we would serve you effectively this day, even in our studies. Father, guide each student as they continue on in their seminary education. And Father, we had asked that you would go before each one as they serve you. Guide us now. In Jesus' name, amen. The quiz this morning is taken from one of the final in-class assignments last night. Let me take a look at what we have there by way of sentences. We'll select one for you. Let's do number 2. Sentence number 2, which will go for what? Just about all of line 3. Sentence number 2. Just translate that into English. Verse 2, yeah. Again, this will be what? The 7th quiz, the last one. I will drop the 2 lower grade quiz scores, and 5 will do it.
here, this night or tonight, on the Son of Israel, their capital land.
Is that word here there?
Son of Israel.
Is the word here there?
What we do with Chet Pei Resh, with the lamed in front of it. Did anyone find that?
Dig too.
To dig in, it's also almost the idea to investigate. So a person digs in, but to dig, that's interesting. Okay, so one more time, real slow.
It was said to the king of Jericho,
Same. Good.
behold, they have come in here unto us into the city
Okay.
this night or tonight from the sons of Israel to search out or to investigate the land,
Okay.
the land and the city. If you look at verse 1 of
Mm-hmm. And then key. Keeps going, doesn't it?
when you go to verse 3.
That's right. Just okay. Let's see.
Just one line,
Right here. Yeah. Good. Good. Okay. Name. Photo long ways. Pass it in. And we will move on to bigger and better things. Okay, coming around are the last pages for the short story, and we'll get started on it. And if we probably won't be done by break time, but we will finish up after break. But this will be pages 44 to 55. Okay, short story, we come to page 42, and a few pages in the sequence will probably not be there, or we'll bypass them if they are the boxed poems, which at some point you can work on your own when it's a choice between watching the World Series and Hebrew. You'll probably go to Hebrew, so... Okay, Mathay. It's a question word. When? So when? That's the subtitle. Sarah, Sham'ah, Kol, Asher, Amar, Abraham.
Ask all who
Yeah. Sarah heard everything or all
which Abraham said.
which Abraham said. So she had listened. He, Amra, Elav. Who is he? He is she. She she said to him, Elohim, Oseh, Call Asher Hu Omer. Yeah, God does all that He says. Who? And then you have the Holem Vav. Who? Hitzil. Oka Min. Ha'ish Shel Hamelech Nimrod. Second word I don't think you've had probably in vocab, but yeah, to rescue, to save. Yep. Yeah, He rescued you from the fire of King Nimrod, king of Nimrod. Who, Nathan, Halak, Zon, Gimalim, Kesev, Va, Zahav, yeah, He gave to you flax. Sound it out. Camels, silver and gold. Who? Nathan, Makah. Talmudim, Rabim. He gave to you, He gave you many students. Who Gam, Hevi, Oka El, Haaretz, Hayafa, Hazot. It's from both. He also brought you to this beautiful land. Who? Shamar, Oka Ad Yom Hazeh. Shamar. 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 Not. That's Shalak. Shamar. Those on video, it is Saturday morning. Suffer with us. Shamar. You've had it several times. You've already got it. No. No, Shamar. To keep. Guard. We haven't had our first cup of coffee, so those on video, stop laughing at us. We're struggling through. He guarded, He kept you until this day. Hu Gam Yathain Makah Bain. He also gave you a son. Abraham Ana Ani Ma'amin Belohim. I believe in God. Ani Yodea Ki Hu Osa Kal Asher Hu O Meir. I know that He does all that He says. Aval ani rotza la da'ath ma'ath. Rotza? What's that? But But I want to know when. But I want to know when.
Did she say down there he also gave you a son?
He also, gives. It's a imperfect. He also will give to you. Yeah, bottom page 42, those on video. He also will give to you a son. Okay, let's see here. Amra, Sarah.
Abraham and Sarah.
No, Amra, yeah. Sarah said, feminine ending there. Gam ani rotsa la da'at. I also want to know. Gam ani sholef libbi afa. If you get this one, this is a good sentence. This is a good sentence. Work with it. Take the tav off at the end of the third word to find the root. Yeah. Also, I have asked in my heart when. So she's question 2, but it's talking about what? Inner thinking, so to speak. Thinking within, not exterior. Page 45. Ha-or-keem, new word. Ha-or-keem. Ha-or-keem. Oreka is guest. Oreak, should say oreak, guest. It would be Aleph, Holem Vav, Resh, Chet, with the Sari under the Resh and the Pathak under the Chet. So simply, the guests. Avru, Yamin, Rabin. Yeah, many days passed. Abraham, Haya, Zakein. Abraham was old. Gam, Sarah, Atha, Sakena. Yom Akkad, Haya, Abraham, Yaf. Ya'af. Looks like af, but Ya'af. Tired. Ayef. Hu, lo, Yatsa, El, Hasadeh, Im, Hazon. He did not go out to the field with the flock. Cham, Haya. Cham you probably not have. It's hot or warm. It was hot. He's tired, doesn't go with the flock, it's hot. Abraham, Yeshav, Lepay, think, Ha-o-hel. Is that the opening of the tent? Pithom, Ra, Abraham, Shalosha, Anashim. Suddenly. Suddenly, Abraham saw three men. Hu, Kam, Baratz, El, Ha-Anashim. Yeah, he got up and he ran to the men. Hu, Amar, Alehem. He said to them, Hayom Cham Miod.
I'm tired today.
Yeah, the day is very hot. Page 46. Ani Roeh Ki Atem A Yefim. Ayefim. Take the eam off. Put a final pay on there. Pay. Yeah, I see that you are tired. Bo'u na el ha ohel shili. Yeah. Come now to my tent. This is a word that probably our travelers used or heard. Todah. Amru. Ha-anashim. Thank you, the men said. Todah is thank you today in Hebrew. Todah. Haim. Ba'u el ha-ohel. Came to the tent. We have the guess part B. Ha, Orchim, Yashbu, Kaf, Ha'etz, Lifnei, Ha-ohel.
Sat under
Eitz? Yes. Guy is cruising here on the Sabbath.
Well, I got finished strong.
That's good, that's good. Holding back on me, huh? Abraham, Haya, Sameach, Miod. Was very happy. Hulo, Haya, Ayef, Od. Okay. Hu, Hevi, Mayim. Yeah, he brought water. Ha, Orkim, Rachazu, F, Haya, Dayim, Ha, Panim, Vaha, Rag, Laim, Az, Ratz, Abraham, Va, Hevim, Ma'im, Karim. The guests washed their hands and their face and their feet. Then Abraham ran and brought Karam. Yeah, water of the stream, fresh water, so to speak. Ha or Keem, Shathu et Hamayim. Yeah. Abraham Ratz El Sarah Ba Amar Yesh Lanu or Keem Hayom. Abraham ran what? Yesh Lanu. Yeah, there are for us guests this day. We have guests today. Havi'i na wakam uvasa. Remember, this is what he's relating to Sarah. Yeah, bring now bread and basar, flesh, meat. Means flesh, but we would probably say meat. He, Heviah. She brought bread and flesh, bread and meat. Who? Nathan, El, Ha-Orhim, Bahim. Yes, page 48. Gimel. Look, this guy is going for it. Ha-Orhim, Aklu, Va-Shathu. Yeah, the guests ate and drank. Az, Amru. They said, Toda, Abraham, Al, Ha-Okel, Asher, Na, Beta, Lanu. Thank you, Abraham. Al can mean what? On upon, concerning. Yeah, so probably thank you, Abraham, concerning the food that you gave to us. Abraham ana lo ani nafeti, I should say, et hamayim ha basar vaha lehem Elohim Nathain lanu et hakol. I did not give the water, the flesh, and the bread. God gave to us. Yeah, all of it from coal. Tanu, Todah, Le Lohe, Hashemayim Va Haaretz, Ha, Orkim, Sha'u, Va, Amru. To the gods of heaven and the earth. Shema. Yeah, the guest listened and said, Cain, Elohim, Nothain, Okel, Lakol, Adam. Cain. Thus is Kol, Kaf, Hey, Cain. Cain. Yes. God gives food to all men. Baruch atah, Yod Yod, Elohei, Hashemayim v'ha'eretz, Hazan et Hakol. Yeah, Lord bless you. That's their shorthand for not. Yeah.
Lord bless you, God, in the heavens and the earth.
He feeds everyone. He feeds all. Mm-hmm. Zion Noon. Well, it would be what? The almost the feeder of all, the nourisher, sustainer of all. Okay, let's do 2 more pages. Yes, Part D, Dalit. Orak, Akkad, Kam, Ba, Amar. Yeah, one guest arose and said, Ani ro'eh ki ata ish tov va tzaddik.
I see that you're a good man and righteous.
Yeah, I see that you are a good and righteous man. And more, Nali ma ata ma va kesh. Ma va kesh. Yeah. Say now to me, what do you want from what? Bashah. Or Bakash, I should say. Bakash. Heyakol, Ani, Lafaith, Laka, Devar. Notice the first letter. Interrogative hey, take that off. Yakol. How does the question come in? Devar can mean
Matter,
word,
thing.
matter, thing. Yeah, it's that idea. Say it again. Yeah, it's that idea. It's from the time. Page 50, and then we'll take a break. Abraham Anah. Toda Rabbah Adoni.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my Lord, my Master. It's a greeting, or it's a statement of respect. Yesh li Isha Tova. Okay. Yesh li zon ug malim kesef va zahav. Flocks and camels, silver and gold. Ain li bain aval rock Elohim Yakol Lafaith Banim. Yeah, there's not to me a son. Don't have a son, but rock. Not rots, but ra, but rock. Yeah, but only God is able to give sons. Ha-oreach. Hebit. Ba-enei. Abraham. Ba-amar. Hebit looked. The guest looked. The guest looked in my eyes, or in the eyes of Abraham. The guest looked, it's probably into, we would say, but in the eyes of Abraham, and said, Ani Omer Baka Ki Sarah Belad Bain. Yeah, from Yelad. Abraham, he beat El Hashemayim, Valo, Amar, Devar.
Abraham looked into heaven and didn't say a word.
Man, that guy is. What kind of coffee was that? Starbucks. Okay. Yeah.
With cream.
Ha-Archim, Amru, Shalom, Ha-Ku, Lahem. The guest said, Shalom, and they went out to them. Good job. Let's take a break. We'll come back and finish the short story in a few minutes.